Lobbyists are working round the clock to get a favourable successor to Chief Justice Willy Mutunga, who leaves office next month. But whether it is the government, the opposition, insider judges who want to have one of their own, or even cartels of lawyers, having a voice in the Judicial Service Commission, which oversees the process of recruitment, is paramount.
Whatever happens, the Judicial Service Commission has to get the people it believes are most qualified, or the person it believes is most qualified, and recommend that to the president.
But that, to some, is just on paper.
Majority of the Judicial Service Commission commissioners, basically, they gravitate towards the government. And any decision which is to be made, a serious decision, like the recruitment of the Chief Justice, there is the extent to which I can say that the government may have an upper hand in trying to influence the commissioners.
The 12-member commission is headed by the Chief Justice, who is also the head of the judiciary. Justice Willy sits in the commission as a representative of the Supreme Court. Justice Mohamed Warsame represents the Appeals Court. Justice Agri Muchelule represents the High Court. And Chief Magistrate Emily Ominde is the Magistrates Court representative. The Law Society of Kenya has two representatives, Professor Tom Ojienda and Mercy Mwara-Deche. Two positions in the Judicial Service Commission are indeed representative of the government. That's Attorney General Professor Githu Muigai and Public Service Chair Professor Margaret Kobia. Winfred Gushu, meanwhile, who worked at the TNA Secretariat, was appointed by the President and approved by Parliament to represent the public, and so was Kipngetich Korir-Bet.
The executive already has a majority in terms of the people who they appoint to the JSC.
In the Judicial Service Commission, we have a commission, just like the way we have the IEBC Commission. We don't have a political parties representation. If we wanted to give them a job, we could have made them cabinet secretaries. Bet, I think, Bet didn't work for party. It's only Nguchu who worked in our secretariat. And I am sure now she sits there as a Kenyan, representing the interests of all Kenyans in the Judicial Service Commission.
It is easy for you to make that argument on paper, that you have stopped being a member of TNA. Just removing your name from the register of political parties that you support TNA does not mean you stop being a supporter of TNA.
And as the debate goes on whether the executive has the majority, the process gets more complex, as some members of the Judicial Service Commission are keen on succeeding Mutunga. Among them, Justice Wanjala said to be interested in the seat, and Attorney General Professor Githu Muigai. And with the Chief Justice leaving, it means it could now be up to 8 members to decide, as Anne Amadi, who's the Chief Registrar, is just a secretary to the Commission.
For instance, if Justice Wanjala wanted to be CJ, then he, of course, would be ruled out of the deliberations on that particular position. So it is highly likely that whatever committee is constituted, the 4 individuals that I've talked about would form the core of that team.
The question of whether Parliament and the Office of the President should be trying to control JSC, I think is neither here nor there. In fact, I think they should not try to control JSC because each of them has their own independent role. After JSC does the initial process, the President has a role, Parliament has a role.
It is the Law Society of Kenya representatives, Mercy Mwara-Deche and Professor Tom Ojienda, that will be looked at as swing votes, and the other judges in the Commission if they don't go for the seat. In the meantime, however, a case is still pending in court after Parliament amended the Judicial Service Act to have the Commission give 3 nominees for appointment as Chief Justice other than one, as has been the case. For Sunday Live, I'm Hussein Mohammed.